Hey, welcome to my channel, Being a Carer with Kes. Now, I'm so excited doing this video. Why? I've always wanted to do something on, Tech Nation visa, but I wanted someone who had come to the UK via that route. And today I have the pleasure of saying that I have someone who came here rather through that route, and he'll be spilling it all on what it entails or what it takes to come to the UK via the Tech Nation route. So don't go anywhere, sit tight, and trust me, this is one video you do not want to miss. My name is Kesienaakwaraatie, a health and social care trainer. To all of you, my returning subscribers, thank you so much. You guys, you rock. All right. And hey, to all of you, my awesome mentees out there, much love to you guys. Okay. Remember this, never forget that you are always in my thoughts and prayers, and I wish you nothing but the best. Hey, if you're just watching this channel for the first time, hi there, smash the subscribe button. Be a part of us, okay? And of course, trust me, you will not regret it, all right? And do like the video by giving me, a thumbs up. And click on that all-important notification bell. So whenever I upload a new video, you will be among the very first to know. Reminded that I have, activated my membership platform. So be a part of it and let's chat, all right? Also, don't forget, freely connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Care by Kes, and I'll see you there. So right now, guys, join me, drum roll, for Tobi, as he tells us his roots or how he came to the UK via the Tech Nation route. Come on, guys, drum roll. Hello. So, guys, this is Tobi. All right. He came to the UK via the Tech Nation visa route, and he'll be telling us about himself. So, Tobi, tell us about who is Tobi.
Hi guys, my name is Tobi. My full name is Tobi. I'm a tech IT professional. What we know as a tech bro. Before coming into the UK, I've been a cybersecurity professional for large organizations. I've done product management. I've done product design. Yeah, but right now I'm an IT security professional for a top charity foundation in the UK presently.
Brilliant. So you just told us what you're doing in Nigeria. Oh, yeah, that's where you're from, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's from Nigeria. Yeah, from the motherland. Yeah. And he's here in the UK. So one thing people want to know is, how does this work? How does the process work? Coming to the UK via the Tech Nation visa route. How does it work?
So I mean, it's very, very straightforward, very, very simple. I think the UK government has done a lot of job providing a guide, which is the technician visa guide. In this guide, you see all the requirements, the kind of documents you have to provide, the kind of evidence, what criteria you need to meet for them to be able to endorse you. After the endorsement, you can now apply for the visa to come into the UK. So I can tell you it's very detailed, but trust me, if you have time, you go through that guide, you go through the requirement document, you'd be on your way.
So can you give us some snippets? What are those kind of documents they would ask?
Okay,
so just a few, not all. Let them go and do a research.
So I'm going to give you like a summary. So what the technician will endorse you on is based on two major criteria, right? The first one is if you get an endorsement as an exceptional talent or an exceptional promise. The exceptional talent is basically people that have been in tech for more than 5 years. They've made a lot of impact. Their experience is huge. They've made a lot of achievements in the industry. They've mentored a lot of people. They've founded companies, tech companies that have impacted the society and have a huge value proposition. Then for promise is exceptional. Promise is someone that is still upcoming. Usually, a person, a tech professional that is less than 5 years of experience, right? They're just fresh into the industry. They don't have a lot of achievements, but they have at least, remember, at least one achievement in the required fields that Tech Nation has specified. So what are the criteria, right? You have the mandatory criteria, and then you have the optional criteria. For the optional criteria, I'm just gonna summarize it for you. I'm not gonna go into what exactly what technician says. So for optional criteria, right, you have to prove that you have been involved in contributing to the tech community. How can you prove this? Contribution to open source projects, contribution to opinions on publications. What else? Contribution to a news publication. Contribution to a news company must have written an article about you, right? Those are the ones I can think about on the top of my head. Then you have to prove that you have been involved, you have been a significant contributor, right, in a product-led organization. What does that mean? So many people will find this very confusing. Basically, if you've worked in a product-led company, so what the product-led company means is you worked in a tech company where they have a product that the whole organization is centered on that product, and they market that product, they have users that use that product, and that product meets their needs. So if you have worked as a tech professional in that kind of company, tech professional, which includes software developer, UI UX designer, cyber security professional. I didn't mention that it's also split into the technical professionals and then the business professional. In tech, you have the people that are just technical, and you have the ones that sell that product, the product managers, the business development, the CCU people, and all that stuff. Right? Let me come back to what we're discussing. Take you guys that far because it's really broad. Yeah. So I was talking about the optional criteria, and I just mentioned the second one, which is a significant contribution to a product-led company, right? Third one would be, research publications. Okay. Research publications. If you're an academic, right, and you've done like a research that is out there, people have benefited from the research. You have a lot of usage of your research publication, right? That is not associated with your master's program or your bachelor's degree. It's just a standalone research, right, with a lot of views. You can use that as an evidence. Then the last one, which is for me, in my opinion, is the most, I wouldn't say difficult, but the most tricky of them all. You have to prove that you have come up with an innovation in the last 5 years. What do I mean by an innovation? You have worked on a project that that is not out there. The project would have been something that maybe yourself or your company had signed a patent for. When you say patent, it's not something you can get off the street anywhere. It has to be something really special, something innovative, something out of the ordinary. It might be something that someone has done in the last few years, but it has to be specific to the organization you are and the kind of industry. It just has to be unique. That's the word. It just has to be unique, innovative. So if you can prove that you've worked in that kind of organization or that kind of team to create a product like that, you are eligible for that criteria. Then for the mandatory criteria, right, I think the mandatory criteria is just like a consolidation of everything that you have been doing in tech. So what do you need to prove that you meet this criteria? In my head, one of the things you have to have won an award. Expert in your industry must have endorsed you and given you an award to say, okay, this guy is good, a great guy. you have to have been involved in a large technology initiative, right?
Mm.
What do I mean by a large technology initiative? Like a tech project that, you know, cuts across not just your company but connects other companies, the community, impacting the community and is large. You can prove that, you know. Then you have to, one of the evidence you have to provide is you have to have worked in a product-led company. I think that's like the basics requirement for the mandatory, right? If you're in a company, for example, like Spotify, Netflix, in a company that has a product that they push forward, right? You meet that criteria already. If you can prove that you worked in that company alone, you meet that. But trust me, just one evidence is not enough. The
Wow.
technician, the technician, requires that you have at least 10 pieces of, no, sorry, at most 10 pieces of evidence to prove all these criteria that have
You've met
been
them.
mentioned, right?
Okay, let me ask a question. I know they're all itching to ask this question. How many criteria did you How did you meet all the 10?
Yeah, so
Whoa.
the ten criteria that divided into both the mandatory criteria and the optional criteria. For me, I had 5 pieces of evidence for the mandatory criteria.
Okay.
And also 5 pieces of evidence for optional criteria.
criteria.
So for the optional criteria, I had 2 each. No, so I had 2 for one criteria.
Okay.
In the optional criteria, and I had 3 for the other optional criteria. So which sums it up to 10 pieces of evidence. I also forgot to mention, right? Aside all this evidence, you have to provide 3 recommendation letters from people that are considered industry experts that have worked with you, that can endorse you and say, this guy has done this guy has done that, is good, and I recommend him. This is what he's coming to do in the UK. I can beat my chest anytime, anywhere, and say, wow, stand to that guy. 3 people. They're not just the people that are known in that industry. Wow. For me, I like to think of it, people that you can go on Google and search. Okay. And you can see what they have done. Yes. And so then,
if you are somebody that likes to just go to office, sit down, do your work, and go home.
No, it'll be hard.
It will be hard.
It'll be hard. You have to be involved in the tech community. Okay. Right. You have to be, you have to have brought up people below you with proof.
Like mentoring.
Yeah, mentoring. Okay. Mentorship. Yes, I use that too for one of my evidence for the optional criteria.
Okay, so basically, if you're an IT person rather, and all you do is go to work, do your job, and go home, then I'm sorry, this is not for you, I presume. So you have to go to work as an IT person, strut your stuff, and get the recommended awards. All right. Now I know my people don't like long videos, so I'm just going to go straight to the next question, which is, would you say it is easier and better to come to the UK via this technician route if you meet all the requirements?
I mean, it's the global talent visa is for me, it's the best visa I've heard about, right? If you meet that criteria, what are the benefits, right? You don't need to get a job offer to come into the UK. You can come into the UK and work for anybody you like, as long as you're in that field that you plan to be in, right? You can start up a company in the UK. You can transfer your company, from wherever you're traveling from into the UK and just continue from where you stop. So the restrictions are minimal, right? I think the restrictions are you cannot work as a sports person or in the medical field, yeah. Okay. But every other thing else you can do.
Are you sure? You can do a carer.
You can do a carer, but the thing is, if you plan to extend, you must have worked in your field for at least once or less than 6 months.
Okay.
Yes, but anything other than that, you are good.
Okay. And how long does it take you guys on this route to get your indefinite leave to remain?
So, like in the start of my introduction to what the visa is all about, I mentioned exceptional talent and exceptional promise. For exceptional talent, if you get endorsed as an exceptional talent, right, it will take you 3 years before you get your leave to remain. While for the exceptional promise, right, those I explained it. It will take you 5 years
Oh.
before you get your leave to remain.
Yeah, that's because you haven't worked for very long with it, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how they decided to
No, but I
coin
think
the
it's a
visa.
good one because they pay them very well.
Yeah,
They pay them very well, yeah. But I won't ask how much you pay, don't worry. So what would be your advice to those who are planning on relocating to the UK via the Tech Nation visa route?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a tech professional, right, you've been at this for a while now, I think you should go for it, right? I think what most people fear is, the requirements. I remember when I saw the requirements, right, providing 10 evidence, asking for 3 recommendation letters from top bosses in the industry. It's quite overwhelming. It was a lot, right? It would take you time to gather your evidence and all that. So some people just get discouraged, during that process, or maybe they meet a few of the requirements and like 3 left, so they just give up, right? So what I can advise is, if you know that you have, all the requirements, give it a shot. It just takes three weeks, to get an endorsement. And
then, 3 weeks to get an endorsement.
Yes, 3 weeks.
Your visa, how long does it take?
The visa also takes 3 weeks.
So in 6 weeks, you're in the UK.
6 weeks, you're in the UK.
Guys, did you hear that? If you follow these routes as a Tech Nation visa applicant, in 6 weeks, you're in the UK.
Yeah.
3 weeks for what? Endorsement, isn't it?
3 weeks for endorsement.
3 weeks for your visa.
3 weeks
Okay,
for visa.
one question. So between the time you decided you're going to opt for this, go for this option, and when you eventually, submitted your what do you call it now? Application. How long was it?
For me, I think it was about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 months.
6 months.
Because why I say 6 months, I know it's 3 weeks the endorsement, 3 weeks the visa, but gathering the evidence and following up for my recommendation letter and all that, it took a while, because the people I used, they were really busy people, right? It took them a while to,
I can imagine,
pay attention to the letter and just write it and sign it.
I can imagine.
According to the laid down technical criteria. So it took a while. I had to be messaging them, following up.
Exactly.
Because I can't leave it to
Wow.
So it took that was what took time, because the evidence I used were there. The projects I already done them in the past. So to write those down didn't actually take that long. But see that the recommendation letter itself,
it's like, when you write referees, you ask them for the feedback. They really come back to you.
Yeah, so
you have to keep at it.
Yeah.
But brilliant. So if you are out there and you are a tech guru, stop resting on your hours. Get busy.
Yeah.
6 months is a long time to get all those things together. But one thing we both agree on, we're talking earlier, is that please don't lie on your CV. Because you lie, they will catch you.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the first day at work, because you already said you can do X, Y, Z. No, you said you do A to Z. So what happens as you come in? You hit the ground running, isn't it?
Yeah, you hit it.
You hit the ground running.
If you know your onions, it'll be very easy for you to integrate to the system. Get the job. But when you pad the CV, tell lies, you will not get through the interview. It'll be difficult. I know it happens everywhere, not only in the UK, other parts of the world.
Yeah. That's brilliant. So, guys, you've heard him. To ask a question: do you need proof of funds in your bank to come here?
No, not at all. You don't see, guys. Once you get that endorsement, right, all you need to do is, I think, a tuberculosis test.
Okay.
And your endorsement letter. That's all. No proof of funds for you. No proof of funds for your dependents.
Oh, so you can bring your dependents to the UK?
Yeah, you can bring your dependent, your wife, your kids. You don't need to prove that, you
Okay. Hold on. For those single ladies, look at this handsome bloke sitting right beside me. Are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
Okay, so he's taking. He's taking, so he's married.
Yeah, I'm married. Off the books.
Off the market.
Nah.
Not on the hangers.
Nah.
With a price tag.
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. Yeah. So, do we end this together? Okay, you know, what I normally say at the end of my videos, I usually say, no matter what the matter is, you matter so much more.
Okay.
And then I do this au revoir sign.
Okay.
All right, we can do that.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Steady. Go. No matter what the matter is, you matter so much more. Au revoir.